Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been so long, been a bit busy, but here we are, we're back on the channel and look, we've got two camera angles. That's because today I'm going to show you my vinyl collection. Now I'll get onto the singles in a bit, but I'm going to start off with the albums. I have recorded this video already, but I wasn't really pleased with it, and plus I got the second angle now, so we can do a better version. I started off with the singles, but you want to see the albums first. So let's get started. So, I open the box. We're going to start at the back. We've got a couple soundtracks here. This first one is Doctor Who, The Five Doctors. You can see that one there. This was my first ever record that I got. There were other ones you could get in this series, but I didn't get them. I only really wanted this one because The Five Doctors is one of my favourite Doctor Who stories. If you watch the other channel, you'll know that. But I'm really glad I've got this. It's two vinyl, two LP in there. One for the original broadcast version and one for the special edition. I don't actually know the entire differences. It'd be helpful if there was a website, I'm sure there must be, that shows all the differences. I just think that the some of them are a bit longer. I think that's basically the track order. But yeah, the closing theme to The Five Doctors I really love it. This sort of a remix of the very first Doctor Who theme, which leads into the Peter Howe version, which is my favourite version of the theme tune. So yeah, I'm really glad I've got this. The artwork's also very, very good on the back. You can see the artwork's really nice. So we'll go on to the next one. The next one is also another Doctor Who, and it is, I got this recently, the Celestial Toy Maker. It's 180 gram vinyl, so it really is quite thick. Two coloured vinyl releases in this one. The original, the other one was just black. But the Celestial Toy Maker, I haven't listened to this all the way through, but I'm really glad I've got this. It's a really nice cover. The colours of the records are excellent, so I'd really recommend those. So the next one, alright, we are getting on to the music side of things now. This first one is, I'm really glad I've got this one too. It's the Pepsi and Shirley debut album, All Right Now, with some really great tracks on here. It's a really underrated record, I think. Obviously this is original, there haven't been any represses to my knowledge. But yeah, inside is a really great record. And some of the artwork's great as well. And the tracks on here are really excellent. I really wish they did some more stuff. Hopefully they will very soon. So the next one, getting onto the Wham territory here, we have the album Fantastic. The record in here is pretty much mint. It plays fantastically well, and a really good quality cover too. Obviously it's the original, there haven't been any represses. But we're getting a new Wham record soon. The singles, the Echoes from the Edge of Heaven, you can get a singles box set for 200 quid, or you can get two coloured vinyls, which I've got, two coloured records, which you can get from HMV and all over. You can get different colours and stuff. I got the blue one from HMV. I'm really looking forward to when that turns up. Two LPs with some 12-inch stuff on there as well, 12-inch remixes. So yeah, really great album. So move on to, I've got two copies of this. I'll show you one. I'll show you my preferred version of it. This is Wham! Make It Big. This is like a first sort of pressing with the text on the back. It's upside down. But yeah, it's a classic album. This, just reading off the sticker there, it tells you exactly what you're getting here. And it's a really fantastic album. Really great, solid listen all the way through. Yeah, really great album. Move on to the next one. I've also got two copies of this one. This is Wham! The Final. This is going to be obsolete basically because of the singles Echoes from the Edge of Heaven, which I told you about a minute ago. This is the greatest hits, along with 4 basically new tracks, including Edge of Heaven. But yeah, obviously this is the greatest hits, and was the final album from Wham. It's really great, and yeah, really good. Really glad I've got this. So now we move on to George Michael solo records. So we get to first one, the iconic Faith album. You see back there. Yeah, just perfect. It's a really brilliant album. I really love it a lot. I've done a review of this. I've done a review of a few of the other ones in there too. So if you want to know my full opinions of these albums, head over to the reviews. But yeah, great album, would recommend. So we've got a couple of represses here. I may get some original pressings of these eventually, but older. The one after this is really quite expensive. This is Listen Without Prejudice. A very interesting album, one of my favourite albums. I also sort of put it to Faith now maybe, but it's a really great album, really interesting cover too, when he was rebelling against his record label. Yeah, really great. So as I just mentioned, the next one here is I think this is blue vinyl. Yeah, this is blue vinyl. 2 180 gram record version of Older, released last September, was it? But yeah, great. Yeah, I like this album. It is quite sad, but it's a good album also. Good record. So the next, we move on now to Pet Shop Boys next. Yeah, it is right. So we're on to Pet Shop Boys now with Please, their first album, I believe. Yeah, it's because it's got Western Girls. I'm going to see Pet Shop Boys soon, and so I look forward. I've got this album sort of in preparation. It's a really great album. You see it there. It's got all the tracks on the back there. Really good album. Yeah, great album. Great debut album. Love their stuff. Into probably my favourite of the Pet Shop Boys albums. Actually, this is a original press from 1986 or whatever year it was, 87 perhaps. Yeah, 87. Yeah, so this is just a classic after classic album. You see the track list in there. If you recognise the Pet Shop Boys songs, then you'll want this album basically. Really solid album. Yeah, not much more I can say, just a really good album. And on to the last of the Pet Shop Boys albums that I've got. This is Introspective. This is a repress, a really good repress and a really good album. I think all the Pet Shop Boys albums are really great, but this one is also really fantastic. So, on to the part perhaps most of you have been waiting for, the David Bowie albums. So, the first one I've got, a repress. I would like an original of some of the represses that I've got actually. Hunky Dory. I've done a review of it. It's a perfect album. It's fantastic. Life on Mars especially is just brilliant, but the album tracks are also really fantastic too. So yeah, it's 100% would recommend. So the next one, I sort of did a review of this. It is A Divine Symmetry. Really love this too. The alternative mixes here are really great, and yeah, really fantastic. Yeah, I like this. A nice new take on the original Hunky Dory album, with bombers added, and yeah, just great, really good. So on to another classic album here. I did a review of this. Ziggy Stardust, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Just an excellent album. Yeah, just fantastic. There's not much more I can say, just watch the review. But yeah, this is the 50th anniversary half-speed master version. They've done that for Aladdin Sane, but I'm actually yet to pick that up. So, but yeah, 100% would recommend this album. The next one here is an original press of a classic album, Diamond Dogs. Picked this up a couple of days ago, and it's brilliant. It's really, really great. I sort of liked it before I picked this up. I liked Rebel Rebel and Rock and Roll With Me before picking it up, and then I found it and I picked it up and I listened to it all the way through. The Sweet Things Sweet is excellent. You know, the rest of the tracks on here are really great. 1984 is great. Yeah, just all the tracks on here. The title track, Diamond Dogs, is a classic, and yeah, I love everything this album. It's a certified classic. It's probably up there with the next album, which I would like a repress, not a repress, an original pressing, Station to Station. A brilliant album. Got this recently. A fantastic album. The title track, Station to Station, it's 10 minutes long, but it does not, feel like a drag. It's just fantastic. And the film that this picture is from, The Man Who Fell to Earth, is probably my favourite film of all time. This is just a truly excellent album. If you haven't got it, pick it up. Unfortunately, this skips a bit, but it's fine. So the next one, we skip forward 4 years and we go to a classic album. This is, I believe, the first pressing, because the vinyl is that thin. As you can see, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. It's a brilliant album. The last, like Scream Like a Baby, Kingdom Come, and Because You're Young are a bit iffy for me, but to be honest, I haven't really given them a good listen since I first got this. But Teenage Wildlife is just amazing, and Ashes to Ashes and Fashion are just gold, and everything. The whole A side is brilliant too. But It's No Game number 1 and 2, or part 1 and 2, as they're actually sort of known, are great too. So it's a certified classic album once again. So on to a bit of an underrated album, I think. David Bowie, Let's Dance. It's brilliant. It's really lovely. It's a really great album. Modern Love is probably my favourite song of all time. It's a truly fantastic album. This is a repress, obviously. I did see a original pressing a couple of days ago when I got Diamond Dogs. I would like to go back and get that. But this is great too. 180 gram vinyl. And yeah, it's great. Great album. So that's the last of the Bowie albums. I haven't got Tonight or Never Let Me Down. I haven't got the rest of the 80s. I haven't got any of the other stuff. I would like to get the Black Star album. That's on my list. The next one is a classic album, one of my favourite albums of all time. Purple Rain, Prince and the Revolution. A brilliant film and a brilliant soundtrack. You can see it there. It's got a nice shine to it, the cover. But yeah, brilliant album. I can't sing its praises enough. It's a really fantastic, it's a classic album. So, on to another album, which is a certified classic, Fleetwood Mac's Rumours. An unusual pick for me, but I really do like this album, so I picked it up. And yeah, it's a repress obviously, but it's a really great album. Really glad I've got it. So, on to the 12-inch singles before we get into the 7 inches. Right. So, we start off with, I've only got Wham and George Michael 12 inches, so we're going to start off with The Edge of Heaven. This is basically an EP at this point. It's 4 tracks: Battle Stations, Where Did Your Heart Go, Edge of Heaven obviously, and Wham Rap 86. I like this grading, I like the cover basically. Yeah, great. Obviously most of these are going to be superseded by the Echoes from the Edge of Heaven thing. In case you can't tell, I'm really looking forward to getting that. But yeah, this is great. So yeah, great. On to some other ones. So we've got here Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Haven't got the 7-inch of this, but yeah, great. It's got the instrumental of it on the back. In fact, for one of the reviews, I transferred the instrumental of this digitally and it plays in the background. Yeah, great. Obviously a classic, so I'm glad I've got it. Freedom, the long mix. Yeah, a bit of an unusual mix. I prefer the single version, to be honest with you, but I think it's great all the same. Last Christmas, the Christmas '85 version. Not in the best state, to be honest with you, but the A-side plays through. But yeah, good. Great. Glad I've got this as well. Yeah, fantastic. Classic song as well. This next one is quite a simple song, obviously, but I really love it. It's a sort of gatefold 12-inch single of A Different Corner. Simple cover, but a great song. So this is a bit of an unusual find, but a good find all the same. Pepsi & Shirley's Goodbye Stranger. A really good song. I really love the song. And it's a white label, so I guess it was a promo thing. But yeah, glad I've got it. An unusual thing, but I like to have unusual things in the collection. So on to the final 12-inch single before we go on to the 7 inches. Father Figure. Picked this up recently for a £5 in a charity shop. Good find. That charity shop in particular was quite good. It sectioned all the records out. But yeah, there you go. So now we're going to move on to the 7 inches. We'll be back in just a moment. So we're going to start from the front to the back. Cliff Richard, the young ones. I'm not really a Cliff Richard fan. But I'm a fan of the young ones, so I was glad to have found this single. I haven't actually listened to it, but it's obviously a classic song. The next one here, we've got 2 Bowie songs. This is Let's Dance and Modern Love. I'm not going to take them out, but Modern Love is my favourite Bowie song. And yeah, the Let's Dance is also great. The Let's Dance is a bit warped, but it plays fine. But yeah, the covers are in there. They're just in these nice sleeves. This next one is repress on white vinyl of Last Christmas. Very lucky find this. I think I might have mentioned it, but it was on HMV. Just grabbed it quick, and that was the last one. So glad I've got it. Wham Bam, I'm Your Man. Great song, great single. Bought this last year, but yeah, fantastic song. I prefer it to the 12-inch extended version, the real single version. Freedom, obviously you can get all of these as part of the single box set Echoes from the Edge of Heaven, in these nice, in the covers and everything. Yeah, I'm not paying 200 quid, I don't have 200 quid, so I'll pay 30 quid and get it on the record. But yeah, great song, obviously a classic song. Now I've got 2 copies of these. The other one's basically ruined. This is Edge of Heaven. The same as the 12-inch thing. It's got the same tracks. It's just on 7-inch. Yeah, great. This is a original 1984 pressing of Last Christmas. I've got 2 versions of Last Christmas. Got a few Christmas songs here actually. Bought these at Christmas. Did I Know It's Christmas? Obviously want to get that. Great song, and I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. All these original pressings. Surprisingly good quality this actually as well. I've got a few seasonal ones in here, so I've got Happy Birthday Stevie Wonder, and yeah, great. And Faith here, for a bargain bin find for £1. Great song. Really glad got this too. Then we've got Bad Boys, great song. I'm just saying all of these are great because they are. And the Club Fantastic Mega Mix, which is a bit iffy because they didn't want it to go out, but the record label put it out. I wonder they left the record label. And this is the last thing we got here. Heartache and Surrender on the B-side. Great song. And I prefer actually Surrender on this. Sounds great. It's a bit of a sort of maybe an early mix. But yeah, sounds fantastic. So that is all of my records. We've been going for like 20 minutes here, so hopefully I'll be able to cut that down. But yeah, that is all my records at the moment. When I get a new record in, which will be in a couple of weeks, a couple of weeks, I will be, I'll show you what it is basically. I'll just add, so this is all I've got so far, and then you can do whatever. You can see what other records I get. But yeah, that's my record collection. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks time for another review. I can't remember what I'm doing. I've got a plan. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. See you later. Goodbye.